Where wins?
Are we ready for the cinema? Are we ready for the cinema, bro? Oh, baby. All right. So this came out, and you know this is going to be a banger. You know that this is going to be a banger. IGN has reviewed Where Winds Meet. Please bear in mind, this is the same company that gave Concord a 7 and Black Myth Wukong an 8. Okay, and I'll be honest, I think that this video is going to deliver. Look at that like ratio. Look at that like ratio. Now, to be clear, remember, gaming journalism is not about reporting on gaming news. It's about how we can push our liberal agenda to degenerate gamers in 2025, okay? And that's why gaming journalism is a joke, right? So, traditionally, IGN hates Chinese games. They hate them. They hate them. And the reason that they hate them is because Chinese developers are based as okay? They don't give a shit. They don't care, all right? Korean devs are also based as all right? And they do not like this. They want to see the black, femboy, transgender, like they, them pronouned main character run through Dragon Tales or whatever the Dragon Age or whatever, the Velguard. Okay, that 9 out of 10 game. 9 out of 10 game. That's what they want to see, all right? And you don't see that in Chinese games. In Chinese games, it's pretty clear that person does not have a penis. That person has a penis. Okay? There are no body type 1 and body type 2s in Chinese games, all right? That's not how it works. It's how many, it's not a question is there a boob slider? Okay? It's how many boob sliders do we have? All right? And the real question, how big is the cock slider? That's the real question. Viz, good to see you in the chat, buddy. I think that, bro, Where Winds Meet is it, bro. I think this is it.
Winds Meet is an ambitious exercise in maximalism.
All right, so we have, guys, he's revealed himself. Hold on, here we go. His name is Jarrett Green. Hi, Jarrett. And Jarrett looks like a pretty standard, in the sincerest possible way. Jarrett looks like a pretty standard IGN reviewer. He's got his Apple Watch on. He's drinking his Starbucks coffee. He's got his classic neck beard with the beanie. God, he's so cool. God. Yeah, what's his blue sky tags? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the scarf is Slay King Yas. Okay, is that a beer? It's definitely not a beer.
Its sprawling world is a vibrant wuxia love letter filled with over-the-top characters who can practically fly through the air, grand odes to the beauty of the natural world, and the dark political sorcery that threatens all of that on a daily basis.
Okay, do I have this on? I have it on 1.5 speed. I'm going to turn it down to 1.
Hi, Jarrett. Please hand in your resignation letter.
Hey! He's already doing better than what most IGN reviewers do.
And we'll do it this way.
YouTube chat just got Thanos stabbed? Yeah, it did. Well, it's because it blocks a lot of the screen there. I love you, YouTube. my kick chat is based as... That's auto mod, by the way. Auto mod. We did not do it. We did not do it. That was Kick did that. Kick auto blocked. Auto banned the person. Women's rights banned. Hate speech. Get that shit out of here. We don't need any more women's rights around here. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. God damn. You were wrong about Kick all along.
The dark political sorcery that threatens...
YouTube could never. YouTube could never, bro. All right.
all of that on a daily basis.
And we'll do it this way. Yeah, I see. That's a good idea.
Combat is a steady, enjoyable ebb and
By the way, there's proximity chat in this game. So if you get really mad at somebody and you like to say the N-word in your free time, you should probably make sure that your microphone's off. Alternatively, if you like to ERP with people that are pretending to be women on the internet, you should again make sure that your microphone is off. But there is proximity chat confirmed in this game. I cannot wait for the first person to come up to me. N-word, 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 N-word.
Hunter Blue already said he's gonna get banned because of proximity chat KEKW.
That's my boy Hunter, baby. Wow! That's my streamer. I can't wait for someone to be like, I caught Blue Squadron on tape calling me an F-word. You guys would all just be like, that's my streamer, baby. Let's go. I can't wait. It's going to be juiced, bro.
flow that is full of style and substance, but at a slower pace than you might think from just watching it. The collage of the stories it tells, both the main side.
Oh my god, women touch you in this game. Look. Look, she touched him.
The collage of the stories it tells, both the main saga and the innumerable
That's the closest that a lot of us will ever get to female interaction right there.
side fables, are a turbulent gust of ups and downs both thematically and in quality. But unfortunately, the journey to experience it all is pocked by the steep cliffs of jarring late-game progression pacing and rocky valleys jagged with dizzying amounts of micromanagement that turns the very idea of interacting with its RPG systems into stone.
What? What was that sentence? Say that again? It sounded like he used a thesaurus on half of the sentence. He was like, I need something that sounds deep. And like he wrote the script in Starbucks. Like, listen to this sentence one more time.
But unfortunately, the journey to experience it all is pocked by the steep cliffs of jarring late-game progression pacing and
jarring late-game progression pacing. I was told...
Not Skewel just gifted 5 subs.
Yo, Naz, thanks for the 5 gifted, buddy. Appreciate you. Holy shit. He doesn't have money for Odin, but he's got money for the homies. God bless him. I was told that the late game of this game, it's not a hamster wheel.
This is ChatGPT. I wrote this script and I want it back.
I was told that the late game of this by the Chinese players that have already played it for a year. They said that you reach late game in like your gear pretty quickly. And then like the late game in this game is not based around gaining gear as much as it is around like the social interaction between guilds and like causing drama and shit like that. And like fighting each other. Like that's what you do. And so like that doesn't make sense to me. It's like Guild Wars 2. Exactly. Right. Exactly like Guild Wars 2. There's not Guild Wars 2. You reach late game pretty quickly, but people play it for 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 hours because of the horizontal progression in the game. And then all of like the community interaction that you have, right? Because there's dungeons and raids and stuff too, right?
rocky valleys jagged with dizzying amounts
What?
cliffs of jarring late-game progression pacing and rocky valleys jagged with dizzying amounts of micromanagement that turn
Rocky valleys packed with dizzying amounts of micromanagement. How is that a valley? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
turns the very idea of interacting with its RPG systems into stone.
That was like legit, like no cap. That was a ChatGPT script. No cap. For real. I feel younger saying it like that.
The fictional version of 10th century China where winds meet is set in a politically broken place, where powerful clans fight to divvy up the region, both with open warfare and subterfuge. It's the perfect
The whole point is that you're beating the shit out of other guilds for fun.
backdrop for you, an orphan raised by a working-class winemaker that's just itching to leave the humble life behind in search of adventure and purpose. The tale that sends you to lavish palaces, haunted caves, and dank dungeons is run of
Okay, guys, by the way, I did some soul searching. I wanted to know if I wanted, since you can marry women in this game, I figured, and you can date people in this game, I was like, do I want to be a male character or a female character? And I've decided that I think it's best for you guys, of course, if I'm playing a female character. Not for me. I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'm gonna take the bullet. Yeah, I'm gonna take the bullet. I'll do it for you guys.
The mill with a handful of memorable moments that would be moving, but they are often undone by some pretty awful English localization that makes exchanges between characters dense with redundant sentences and turns of phrase that don't really make any sense.
All change daily and never a one missing.
It's also plagued by weird
That didn't sound bad. Was that supposed to be an example of like turns of phrase?
technical issues, like voice lines running over one another, subtitles not matching the words coming from characters' mouths, or
Well, yeah, it was dubbed in. It's originally created in Chinese, dipshit. Of course. What? That's not even a complaint. Like, first of all, does anyone give a shit if the mouthing in your video game doesn't necessarily match like what's being said? Because like, I've never played a game where it actually does match it perfectly 100%. Like, and especially since it was originally scripted in China, of course it's gonna look like it's Chinese.
voices going missing entirely.
Uncle Gong said he's bringing me a new storybook.
Can you wait for me just a little? I need to go.
This still looks good to me. I don't know, like, okay, maybe I'm just capping. This seems fine to me. Are there any issues here?
Missing entirely.
Uncle Gong said he's bringing me a new storybook.
Can you wait for me just a little? I need to go inside and check something.
With some diversions
Okay, yeah, so it missed the line there. That's fair.
into side quests and minigame dabbling, the main campaign's 2 chapters took me roughly 30 to 40 hours to complete. And
Wikidrazil Cheer Dex 100. This IGN review is brought to you by Pearl Abyss.
30 to 40 hours for the main story. Now, do you guys think that he actually played for 40 hours? Did he actually play the game for 40 hours?
Let's be real, while story is important, it's not going to game breaking if some voices are missing here and there.
No, nobody cares.
The main
Like,
content is not going to be story, but what comes after.
also, what difficulty did he play at? That's the real question. What difficulty did he play at?
while they each button up their own isolated stories well, it leaves the journey of your wanderer on a rather unsatisfying cliffhanger.
Come on, let's go!
The various side stories have the same uneven quality. On the whole, the best of them
Of course it's going to end on a cliffhanger. It's a live service game that they plan on releasing more content for. Obviously.
are better written and far more interesting than
Like we just like World of Warcraft didn't get like the end of their main story did not truly end until the Wrath of the Lich King, which was some years after it released. Like that's how this works for live service games like this.
the main campaign. One story had me leading ghosts to the afterlife after the violent fall of their Buddhist commune.
Should father be
That's
home
cool.
by now?
Another starts with me sneaking a nobleman out of his mansion because he doesn't want to commit to an arranged marriage. There's a spontaneity
I'll take the bullet. I'll marry her. I'll do it. I'll just do it. I will go in your place.
to these stories that you don't really see in RPGs like this, but they are also sullied with way more of the technical blemishes. True to its inspiration, the combat in Where Winds Meet is flashy and energetic. Each of the 7 weapons feels distinct and dangerous, and some have different styles to discover that change the patterns of your attacks, as well as the weapon skills you can unleash on your enemies. You can equip 2 at a time, but I spent almost all of my playthrough as a tank, with a spear and a glaive that would buff each other when I
Okay, so he is playing the slowest weapon loadout in the entire game. What's the betting that he says that the combat feels too slow? I would put good money on it. I can hear the words on his lips already.
use specific abilities in certain combinations, though that's partially because it's often a real pain in the ass to find alternatives worth using. All of the ability chaining
Yeah, that reminds me of the pole sword in Naraka, which is the slowest of all of the weapons.
and buff management makes Where Winds Meet feel much more like an MMO than an action game.
Correct.
It's faster paced than the genre might typically be known for, but this combat doesn't share any of the sensibilities of a Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry. There's no bouncing enemies or air juggles, nary an air combo or wall splat, just a lot of stun meter management and weaving attacks and abilities into specific sequence. The tank was right at home to me as a lapsed MMO guy. Managing when to defend and when to go all out felt almost identical to a Dark Knight in Final Fantasy XIV, except with an active block, parry, and dodge.
Final Fantasy is tab target, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
He is using auto parry half the clips. He is not qualified to talk about the combat.
He's using auto parry? You can do that? You can, there's an auto parry feature? He's on the easiest difficulty? Well, that we knew, right? Like, he's garbage, right? Like, all of the IGN reviewers, these aren't actual gamers. That's what you need to understand. If you've never seen an IGN review before, these people aren't real human beings. These are not gamers. These are like left-wing activists trying to push an agenda, right? So a huge part of the reason that IGN is giving this a scathing review, which he has barely said a single positive thing about it. We're 4 minutes into the review. He hasn't said a single positive thing about the game, to my knowledge yet, is because they hate China. They do not, they hate China. They do not want to see China succeed. They hate Chinese devs. They're not woke enough, whatever it is, right? And the rest of us are all China number one. Oh, China number one. Yeah, very number one. Holy shit.
These tools do help break up the sort of autopilot syndrome of many MMO battles, especially the parry, which becomes so important that there is even an auto parry system you can toggle on and off that gives you regenerating resources called insight points to spend as...
So you can auto parry. Can you do that in PvP? Can you turn on auto... Like, I'd understand auto parry maybe during the main story. So you can't do it in PvP. Okay, all right. I was going to say, there's no way that they allow auto parry in PvP. All right, so yeah. So he's doing the easiest difficulty with the auto parry turned on. Cinema. 40 hours of gameplay, by the way. 40 hours of gameplay. You can't do it on Legend. I might try the game on Legend. It might take me a little bit to get started, but you know what it is, what it is. With the slowest loadout. True. With the slowest possible loadout, yeah.
Get out of jail free cards when an incoming attack is about to land. This was a great system for me to play around with early on, and I still appreciate it as a clever way to blunt some of the difficulty spikes for people who need it. The MMO but rowdier combat shined the most against groups of regular enemies. I'd still get to apply my beat-em-up flowchart of finding and eliminating the scariest enemy of the group while navigating the threats of all the other lower tier henchmen, but keeping my attack loop going and buffs topped off while doing so added an extra layer of tactics that really created a flow state I don't usually get from games like this. Of course, these enemies aren't very diverse, largely the same types of guys in different faction garb, with a special gang-specific unit to spice it up.
He's not wrong about that. Most of the enemies we've seen so far kind of look the same.
Ironically, I think the flaws of
Except for that one. Immediately wrong.
this amalgam is most evident against bosses, where things really just get reduced down to a rinse-repeat cycle of parrying and dodging attacks, counterattacking, avoiding big telegraph blows, and so on. Most
I'm so sorry. Isn't that all boss fights in all games? Let's just back that up for a moment. Guys, he's describing Elden Ring. Just do it again, one more time.
Ironically, I
This
think
guy
the
doesn't
flaws
sound
He's-
like he knows what
he's-
games are or how they functionally work.
He's talking about Elden Ring or Wukong. He's talking about Black Myth Wukong. Okay, listen to this and listen to it one more time.
This amalgam is most evident against bosses, where things really just get reduced down to a rinse-repeat cycle of parrying and dodging attacks, counterattacking, avoiding big telegraph blows, and so on. Most bosses are just super thugs with greater health and damage than
Isn't that the point of fighting a boss? That's literally just that's a Souls game. You just explained a Souls game. Again, this guy would have rated Elden Ring a 5, okay, or a 6. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, the whole point of fighting a boss is understanding the boss mechanic, dodging really important abilities, parrying boss attacks, and then counter attacking where appropriate. That's literally describes every single boss fight I have ever done across any game, period, bro. Actually, just wild.
the guys like them that you've encountered in the field. The occasional big spectacle boss can shake things up.
I was about to say, that doesn't look like one of the dudes you were fighting before. That looks like a horse. That doesn't look like, that guy doesn't look the same as you were fighting before either. That guy's bald. Thought I'd point it out.
The occasional big spectacle boss can shake things up, but even that tier of baddies is hit or miss. Chinese lion dancers in a full connected costume that hops on beams and
bro, that's also different. Every boss he has shown us has been wildly different than the previous boss. So unless the mechanics are all like identical, and maybe that's what he's talking about, but that's not really what he's saying. But every single boss, he's like, they're just all the same.
Shoots fireworks at you, hit. A late chapter 1 boss that seems to be attempting to recall Sekiro's Lady Butterfly fight from memory, miss. The vast open...
Wait, what about the staggering? He said something about staggering. Like this was supposed to be a House of Flying Staggers. Did he talk about staggering at all? He didn't talk about staggering. And then he said miss? That's not the same. Staggering implies the game is not well optimized. Right?
And weaving attacks and abilities into...
So, like, he didn't talk about staggering. But okay, sounds good. I was like, maybe he's going to talk about how the game is poorly optimized?
To recall Sekiro's Lady Butterfly fight from memory. Vast open world is overflowing with...
Hold on, what was this one? The Curse of the Golden Loot Dump. Okay.
The vast open world is overflowing with things to find and do when your adventure begins. Especially early on, I was pretty regularly surprised by some of the mostly silly things I stumbled across, like a bear practicing Tai Chi. But that's not...
That's good. That's what we want, stuff like that.
Simply there for a chuckle. You can actually spy on it and, through careful study, learn Tai Chi too. With it, I could then channel the power of the wind to yeet this very bear into some nearby rocks.
Okay! Yeah. Yes! Okay! Now that is the China number one. This is why the Chinese devs are dope. Dude, that was sick. Yeah, let's do it.
When time permitted, I always stepped aside to try to use my mystic arts to solve puzzles in the wild. Where Winds meets big problem, though, is that it's filled wall to wall with other activities that come nowhere close to this sort of ingenuity. There are some jobs you can pick up that make a good first impression, like a healing minigame that turns curing diseases or setting broken bones into a card battler. But that doesn't evolve much and doesn't really reward you meaningfully as you progress up the ranks. Most everything else are versions of the sorts of things you'll see in any open...
AFK fishing. Nope. You have to active fish. You have to press to shake the fishing rod and lure fish.
World RPG like this, none of which change the well-worn formula of these distractions in a way that make checking each one out more than a couple of times feel worth the trip. And that's despite the fact that they all dump a bunch of loot on you every time you succeed. Just about every...
Oh no, not that. I hate getting a lot of loot as an MMO player. No, stop. Don't.
Everything you do in this game does, but very little of what you're given is even worth opening your inventory to take a second look at. It's not that it's all worthless. Chances are it's going to include potions or food items.
Okay, so it is where I was gonna say, so are all the items worthless? And he immediately, I was like, well, maybe if it's just a bunch of junk.
As Josh Strife Hayes once said, an MMO is an online game with fishing.
Yeah. I was like, well, maybe it's just a bunch of junk. And then he immediately is like, well, it's not really a whole lot of junk. You are gonna use it. It's just a lot of stuff. So the complaint here is that you're getting a lot of stuff that you're gonna have to use all the time. That's the complaint. That's a negative. We're putting that in the cons column.
That are going to be auto-used when necessary, or the various crafting and upgrade materials that will wait.
I hate getting crafting and upgrade materials. God. Terrible. You need to have a brain in that noggin and not just air to comprehend that. That's not fair. You're discounting the amount of Starbucks that he's inhaled.
Patiently deep in your pockets for when you occasionally need them, but my only relationship to any of this stuff is hoping I have enough of it when it's time to level up. Same with gear, which I just slot in whenever it's time to make my overall power level rise. Weapons, armor.
Yeah. Yep. That's how gear works. When you want the number to go up, you equip the new gear piece. Yep. Yeah, I know it's little known. He's very insightful.
Which I tip to any of this
Listen to this one more time. Listen to this.
stuff is hoping I have enough of it when it's time to level up. Same with gear, which I just slot in whenever it's time to make my overall power level rise.
No shit. No way!
Weapons,
Bro,
armor, which
what?
will wait patiently.
Like, what? So the complaint here is that he's getting so much loot, but then he's like, yeah, then the competition is to see that if I have enough of it when I level up, that I can craft the new things that I want. Yeah, that's how RPGs work. Like,
Deep in your pockets for when you occasionally need them, but my only relationship to any of this stuff is hoping I have enough of it when it's time to level up. Same.
yes, what else would you need it? Bro, this is rage bait. This guy's rage baiting. He's actually rage baiting. He's like, the only time I ever need these crafting materials are when I level up and I actually have to use them. Yes. Yes, that is how it works. And the only time I ever equip new gear is when I need my power level to go up. No way.
With gear, which I just slot in whenever it's time to make my overall
You can't make this up.
power level rise.
You-
Weapons, armor, and accessories all have little nuances to increase things like crit rate and damage by small percentages, including
Good. That's what we want. Diversity in your build. Poggers. Holy shit. It's not all just named Karazad.
set bonuses if you match pairs of items with similar set symbols, but
Set bonuses like Grunil and Talus and Rokaba. I miss it.
this wall of text approach to equipment with tons of micromanagement is off-putting and not even very impactful
grunt.
until
Shut the up, Lucy.
the endgame. I often just click the super handy quick advance button in the bottom corner that spends all of your resources to upgrade everything in a manner it deems fit. An option
That's an option? You don't have to spend 6 hours in the enhancing window? You can just have it auto upgrade all of your shit efficiently? That's just a win. I'm taking that win. I'm just taking that win, and I'm just taking that win, and I'm walking. Listen to that one more time. Listen to that one more time.
endgame. I often just click the super handy quick advance button in the bottom corner that spends all of your resources to upgrade everything in a manner it deems fit. An option whose mere existence sort of makes a more damning argument against these overstuffed systems than I ever could.
No, you're just clicking the enhance thing and then your number's going up. Oh, look, it even has like a really dramatic look, guys. Ooh, look, the number went up. Ah.
There are milestones that freeze your ability to
What
continue
video is this? We're watching a person talk about where wins meet. It's the new IGN review.
you leveling up at certain points until you pass what's called a breakthrough test, pitting you against waves of enemies that you must...
In fairness, I think that it's really cool that Where Winds Meet has been so inclusive. You know, not to go woke on you guys, but I think the fact that somebody with disabilities like our boy, what was our boy's name again?
The collage of the stories it tells, both the main saga and the world, is a...
Jarrett. Somebody with the disabilities that Jarrett has can approach Where Winds Meet and actually complete the main story in 40 hours. I think that's really impressive. And to be clear, I think that actually puts it up for at the end of the year Game Awards. They have awards for like the most inclusive game, you know, so like people with disabilities can play their game. I think that Where Winds Meet could be on that. You know what I mean? If we're allowing like the IGN, you know, players to actually get through it and understand the systems, I think that's a big win for disabled people everywhere.
Dance button in the bottom corner.
The accessibility award, right?
That spends all of your resources to upgrade everything in a manner it deems fit. An option who then leveling up at certain points until you pass what's called a breakthrough test, pitting you against waves of enemies that you must slay in a certain time frame in order to move on. These tests can eventually get tough, and passing raises your max level, but it then undermines that progress by also raising the collective strength of all of your enemies. Annoyingly...
I'm sorry, isn't that the point? Isn't the point of getting stronger that you can fight stronger enemies? Isn't that the entire point? Again, it's not like we want to get stronger to fight the exact same mobs we were doing before. Oh God, that's what we do in BDO. Oh God. But like straight, that's literally like
stronger enemies equals better loot dench.
Yep.
Move on. These tests can eventually get tough, and passing raises your max level, but it then undermines that progress by also raising the collective strength of all of your enemies. Annoyingly, main story quests start to become level gated as you approach the end, meaning you have no option but to grind experience in order to eventually pass these literal DPS.
Oh no, you have to actually go explore the world in order to do the main story? No, I love how he's like, that's annoying. Do you know why it was annoying for him? It's because he was trying to speedrun as quickly as possible so that he wouldn't have to play the game anymore. And it forced him to play the game more. That's why it was annoying.
Checks. And even when you do, a breakthrough test might require you to wait real-life hours before you can move on to the next tier, as it did for me on 2 occasions, by gating my progress behind daily...
That's kind of annoying.
...server updates, making...
Okay, so that is annoying, but it's gating it behind daily server updates. Yeah, that's an L.
He jumped through a bunch of hoops to progress, only to tell me that I'm actually moving faster than intended, is ridiculous. Don't tell me how to waste my life.
Honestly, rare IGNW. Rare IGNW. That is true. Very honestly true. Maybe he watched like an Asmongold video or something, and he was like, yes, this game, yeah, right. We don't want, that. We don't want daily gated. Woo! Go team. Last hurrah for Jankery. Is it just me, or are these big ass titles coming up on the screen and then they have nothing to do with what he talks about next? Like, I not a single time has one of these come up on the screen that he actually talks about something.
Across the windy shores, rolling hills, craggy mountains, and bustling towns of the Xionghu is a breezy experience thanks to your generous triple jump and wall running abilities.
There's a triple jump? Most games like, oh, they have double jump. What about triple jump?
When they actually work, that is. During every play session at inexplicable intervals of time, these features will just inevitably stop working entirely, only to just be fixed.
This just looks like he's dog shit. I'm not gonna lie, this just looks like he's bad.
When I log out and log back in, this doesn't make navigating all the mixed terrain a problem, but some hidden chests or activities that require these extra movement options are temporarily taken off the table for reasons that never feel good. Navigating lagging menus to sort out your gear, check the map, or level up your abilities can be a chore as well. Fumbling through sub-menus to click a tooltip so that I could read a further item description or find out where something was.
That was one of the L's that it looked like to me the game was going to have, is that the UI is kind of ass. And it's like that Naraka is the same way. The UI is total garbage in Naraka. So I would believe that the UI system for stuff is difficult.
Draining experience. The world of Where Winds Meet could have done with a couple dozen fewer of its random 5-minute mini quests if it meant spending more time making the process of flipping through all of these spreadsheets less painful. You
I
can
don't know about
play
you.
a lot of
I kind of like doing spreadsheets sometimes for games, bro. I kind of get like my dick gets a little hard doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever made a spreadsheet for a game before and you're like, oh, yeah, dude. I made a spreadsheet one time for BDO with all my wagons and stuff back in the day. Like, I had like 4 wagons in every town, and I had like all of my, like, because I didn't want to buy storage in every city because I didn't have that kind of money. So like I put all of this stuff in there, and then I had it all organized on a spreadsheet, where it was, what wagon it was in, etc. Oh, so hot, bro. I still have the spreadsheet.
Where Winds Meet co-op, but servers were pretty scarce pre-launch.
It almost feels like you're actually being productive. Yeah, almost. Yeah. It makes it feel like you're doing something that is productive, you know what I mean? But you're not still, so it's fine. You can like trick yourself.
Finding people to run multiplayer-focused events wasn't possible. I did at least get to
Look at this. You can group kill. Look at this boss that they're killing, bro.
You can play a lot of Where Winds Meet co-op, but servers were pretty scarce pre-launch, and finding people to run multiplayer-focused events wasn't possible. I did at least get to take on the big raid-style bosses thanks to a full CPU party option. These automated party members were competent enough to do the Simon Says
Okay, so these are CPU players, so they're not real.
required to minimize damage when necessary, but if they weren't basically immortal, I'm not sure they would have had the chops to kill any of these scary enemies. I'm sure my experience here is not representative of the design intention of these big co-op romps, but I'm still glad I could get access to the novel items they drop without having to find 5 of my own friends to do so.
Greetings. Look, we really don't have what you...
Perhaps there's a version of Where Winds Meet that isn't throttled by the storm of its own lofty aspirations. It has a great understanding of what makes wuxia such a compelling subgenre of fantasy fiction, bleeding into a vibrancy of its characters and the flair of its combat. But it becomes clear very quickly that the attempt to shove as many kinds of experiences into one game, open world adventure, action-heavy MMO, musical rhythm game, card battler, etc., only ensures that none of these elements reach their full potential. Instead, Where
I bet he'd say the same thing about BDO when it launched. Or World of Warcraft when it launched. I bet they say the same thing. The thing that people like so much about RPG games is that there's a bunch of systems. And yeah, sure, they might not always contribute to like the main story as a whole, but it's really cool that they're in the game and you like doing them sometimes. A perfect example is in The Witcher 3. There's like a card game that you can play with NPCs at the, you know, when you sit down at like a bar, right? Does it have a purpose? No, not really, you know, but like, it's really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Gwent is Fire. Exactly. It's really cool, right? Like we like to have that kind of stuff in the game. So like, yes, there's probably going to be a lot of systems in the game that players are not going to use almost ever, but other players will use, and you'll use them sometimes, and they're fun. They're just cool aspects of the game, right? Like spectating the bear and learning Tai Chi and throwing him into a rock. That doesn't need to be in the game, but it's really cool, right? When people don't understand that having the freedom to do more things will make you burn out less. Exactly. Beautifully said. Honestly, the least dented chatter that I've got today. Like straight up. Sandboxes, the reason that people do and don't burn out on primary reason people burn out on Black Desert Online is that they fail to capture the essence of the game and do something different when they burn out on grinding or they burn out on doing one thing. They're not able to pivot and do something else, right? But the options are there. World of Warcraft, people burn out on WoW, right? But like the idea of the game is that there's a lot of different systems. So when you get burned out on one thing, you can do another thing. That's what RPG gamers really want in their game.
Winds Meet is an amusement park where every ride is being run at half speed, and the sugary treats at the concession stands come with
and 12 well-designed maps, it's got the makings of something that testament serious PvP charms. Shooter need to recommend.
Just being honest, I don't we got a lower rating on this than Concord. And I'm gonna be honest, this just makes me want to play it even more.
Theorem17 shared Dex 100. Have you seen the jailbreak PvP system? At blue_squadron.
I have. It's gonna be dope. This just makes me want to play it more. I firmly believe that a lower rating from IGN is actually a better game. And I don't think that that's a hot take. I like straight up, bro.
with piles of paperwork to complete before you can chow down. For more action, check out our reviews of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment or Ninja Gaiden 4. And for everything else...
No, I don't think that I will. Thank you, though, Jarrett. I'll do my part. I'll do my part. That dislike ratio is crazy. That dislike ratio is nuts. The combat was slow, followed by, yeah, I chose to play a tank, mainly used to play the slowest weapon types. What'd I say? I didn't actually hear him say the combat was slow, though. I was too distracted by him getting upset that he was getting a lot of loot drops that he actually had to use later to upgrade his gear. And that was frustrating for him. That they gave it a 6 out of 10, too much wind. I cannot believe Concord rating is bigger than this. People, it's free to play for yourself. Make your own choice. You can tell this guy didn't want to review the game at all. He just got the paycheck to do it and wasn't interested. Yep. The reviewer sounds like he got bored by his own voice. Why does this guy have literally zero energy? Also true. Mound sounds bored as hell, even to get the review. Never heard someone complain about a game having so many things to do. Exactly, dude. That's what I want. I can't wait until Friday. Like, I just feel like he spent 90% of the video complaining. Most of the other IGN reviews I watch are just glazing this, glazing that, glaze, glaze, glaze. This was complain, bitch, whine, moan, complain. I didn't even hear him really say anything positive about the game that wasn't immediately followed with a bunch of negative shit, right? Like, what? Jarrett Green the Clown? What a review. Yep. I'm glad that he told us his name. Now we can look him up on Blue Sky because the voices not matching is pretty authentic. Yeah, again, it's Chinese, bro. You can feel this ain't game reviewer's vibe. Maybe someone else should have done it. His impressions are of someone that doesn't want to play the game either way. Yeah, it's like he doesn't play RPGs. He's like, oh my God, you just get so many loot drops. And there's so many systems in the game. It's just a lot. And it's not that the systems are bad. It's just that, they're fun, but like, it's just a lot, like it's not complaints from somebody that actually plays RPG games, dude. Oh my God. IGN taking their social credit score with this one. I hope that this game absolutely shits down their throat. I do. I hope that this game absolutely dumpsters them. I hope it's not even close. I hope they look like clowns.